Hey everybody, Chomsky here. Um, just wanted to kind of get ahead of some things and basically do another dust them off. And right now it's Mezomel. Kind of want to be pertinent since Monday we have a double primal or double mythical from primals. That'd be interesting just to bust out a Mezomel here and talk about her. In all actuality, Mezomel is my least used mythical. Geralt would be the other, but Mezomel, I'm intrigued enough by her to use her a little bit more often, and uh, she's just fun. I guess is what you want to is one adjective to describe her. Another adjective would be sucky, and I'll talk about it. But right now, I have her in just a smorgasbord of of stuff. Like she'd be great at the buffet because there's so many things on her plate. I have supersonic, a five-piece supersonic, cruel just to ignore a little bit of defense and to gain a little bit more attack. I have a one slayer just to have just to basically be crit capped. And then I wanted some accuracy on her and I that may be unnecessary. But it's just the speed, HP and defense and attack. So it's all over the place with some resistance, but essentially I just wanted double speed. Uh, and there's definitely some room for improvement on this. Like I I could glyph everything out. I just haven't yet because hey, it's CVC coming up, and we may have I just want to save those points for then, as well as just getting everything up and running. But anyways, I have her with Saint Xavier's tribute. Just this way she could potentially get a veil on herself, just for damage mitigation essentially. So this way she's not targeted and all that fun stuff because she is hella squish. Even at 56,000, like and not even 4,000 defense, she's basically gone in like two hits. So I want to do as much damage mitigation or avoiding things as much as I can, and that veil kind of helps. She is crit capped, 300% crit damage, uh, maybe one of my highest resistance, and then accuracy, not really necessary since she is basically attack based. But I don't have her booked out, so that's fun. But just going through her kit, form one, she's attacking one enemy, tosses a decreased defense for 2 turns, which is cool. Get her in ally attack team, have her be first. So this way she attacks first, and then everybody else could follow, and then we just get a little bit more damage. Uh, Here, attacks one enemy twice, ignoring defense as well as stone skin, strengthen ally protect shield. Places a block revive on the target if they're killed. This is huge. There's only so many block revive champs out there, and this is really her bread and butter. You basically want to decimate, you, you know, the enemy as much as possible. So this way you could come in with an A2 here and finish them off and have a block revive. This is super important for any long battles, especially arena, live arena, or yeah, it's basically where you kind of want to plug her into. And avoiding stone skin, um, that's huge, man. That's great. And then she does do her self buff, increasing attack, crit rate, and crit damage. Gets an extra turn, so that's snazzy. I think again, dusting her off. The reason why I didn't book her is really just because for any arena, I want to go in, kill as quickly as I can, and then basically win the match. I don't want to hang around for 3 turns for this to come back, so that gets kind of wonky, but that's fine. She has a passive that she heals by 20%. Like that's pretty sweet. And then a self revive on death. So this way she does come back, albeit uh, no extra turn meter or anything like that. So she may get killed again, but it's cool to have this. Second form, I did toss one book in here. It's just an AoE attack, and then if there's True Fear, she attacks again. So, okay, pretty basic. She's attacking twice on her A2, places a True Fear for 2 turns. It's not going to trigger counterattacks, and it's also ignoring unkillable and block damage. So, like a really solid champ that just avoids like basically stuff that's out there. So she can do some damage, but she is a glass cannon. So if if she does get targeted with an attack with an AoE or whatever, like basically she's going to be done. Like so trying to get trying to get decent stats on her, like 4,000 was basically it, and she is empowered. Um, but still having her decently fast with crit, being crit capped and all that stuff. Like this was a struggle to make her viable. Essentially, is what it is. So that's why I did want to go with Saint Xavier, not Xavier, but Xavier. With that, just so this way there is that veil, and then, this. What is this? Critical strategy is just so awesome. Uh, increasing the wearer's crit damage by 10% for each enemy whose HP is at 50% or lower. That's huge. I may strip this and put it onto someone else just because this is awesome. Especially if, like in Hydra for like mytitas, this is a great gemstone. Crit damage is awesome. And then here, increases their damage. I just want to build off that and have as much damage as I can get. So mastery wise, I went with defense first, resistance, whatever. Um, just to get more shield on her, just a little bit, healing whenever they kill, because essentially I want to have Mezomel be that killer. She is a killer wolf. Let's lean into that, right? Here, it's having a leech out there with fear and true fear, which she does. I'm okay with this. Just this way she could potentially heal or others. And then having a counterattack here, which I really enjoy this. For basically a majority of my attackers, I want to have deterrence on there because I want them to attack. Went with crit rate. This is going to be standard operating procedure here at Chomsky Industries. I want crit damage and crit rate. With Mezomel, just because she is so squishy, you know, just a little bit more damage if she's at half life or anything along those lines. You know, and again, I'm leaning into the whole idea of her being that killer. So increasing speed for each enemy killed up to 18 speed. That's pretty big. You know, increasing more damage. That's fine. If they have more HP, she gets 6% more. Here, I was leaning into that second form with fear and true fear, just getting a little bit more. Like 12% is pretty big. Uh, that's that's outstanding. So opportunist made sense to me, and then it gets into blood shield. Again, just wanted to make sure that if she does kill someone, there's a little bit more damage mitigation here. Um, Again, leaning into the whole killing aspect, and then ignoring defense with Helm Smasher. I have Soul Reap on her. This may change. She is 6-star. I like the idea of the true fear debuff on them. If they survive the Reaper, that just, to go back to that 12% um, additional damage. I could, like, Brimstone was an idea way back when. It's not now. Nature's Wrath, no. Um, the fear and true fear is fine, but like I don't like this up to 30%. I would much rather maybe cruelty would be the key here. Just ignoring defense. I do Soul Reap just because when I was using her as a wave clearer, that just went a lot quicker. Um, I Heaven Cast has been kind of my go-to. Just it's more damage for each buff on her, so it only helps out, especially on form one, where she's increasing attack. That's another 6% damage right there. So that's all right. But right now I just have Soul Reap, but it'll change. Depends on how often I'm going to use Mezomel. But I, for the longest time, all these mythicals came out, and I was like super pumped. And Mezomel I thought was going to be super awesome, but I know she got worked on. I just don't see her as much in arena, like live arena, especially. I see Co- Commodus, Crixia, Siegfried to like a lesser extent, but I rarely see Mezomel. I think she's really, really solid. That whole block revive aspect on her is good and can be utilized. I just, there's only so many spots left. So, I if you get her on Monday or whenever you pull your primals, I she's not. I just don't want you to groan. I think she's very useful and definitely in content. She's not really that useful in boss modes. Hydra, Chimera, Clan Boss, but for Curse City, she's really solid. She's just a fun champ when you actually get to use her. So, just wanted to make a quickie here, just show you that, hey man, I'm okay with her, and especially in Supersonic, it's she does get to cut in a little bit. Um, I don't think she needs 9 piece, but just a mix is nice. So, just wanted to show it off and just say hey. But yeah, that's that's what I got for 10 Mezomel. So enjoy.